Hello everyone. So last week I did a video that showed you how to make a card using the die cuts and the pansy patch set, and I had some comments saying, yeah, but what about the stamping? Show us how to stamp using the set. So this video will show you how to use the Stamparatus in conjunction with the stamp set, the pansy patch stamp set, which is a two-step stamping set, and this is the card that we're going to make. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I stamped the stamps to create the flowers. First of all, I want to show you, like, the stamp sets now come like this. So they've done away with the little plastic cover sheets, and the images are right on the case of the stamp set. So you would just go ahead and store them with the stamps right on top of the images that they belong to. Not all the images are here, as you can see. I have some of them on blocks. And what I like to do is I'm going to put the stamp set underneath this plate here, so that when you're stamping, it actually isn't on an angle the way it would be. It's actually going to be flat, because the stamp set or whatever you put underneath it is going to lift that and make it easier to ink up your stamp. So, but first, I forgot, I got to take the stamps that we need to create the flower. So we're going to do the bigger image first, the solid image, which will be in pink, polished pink right there. So that, of course, would be this stamp. So go ahead and lay it down on your cardstock. You're going to pick it up with your plate, and then we're going to do that in polished pink. This is what I mean by, if you have this underneath, it's easier for you to ink up your stamp. Okay, so load that up with your ink. And if you are not happy with how you stamped it, you can always just add a little bit more ink and just go over it a second time. So that's the first layer. Now we're going to do the purple. Actually, it's eggplant. It's Blackberry Bliss, sorry, that I used for the center. So you're going to go ahead and take your detailed images and line it up on top such a way that you're happy with the alignment. And I'm going to say right there, you're going to pick that up and then go ahead and ink it up with your Blackberry Bliss ink. And there you have the beginning of your flower. And then, of course, the center here, I did it in Mango Melody and Blackberry Bliss. So those would be these two stamps here. Let's take those out. And I want to go ahead and position this where I would like it to be in the center. I chose white paper because I wanted part of that pansy to be white. Like, I wanted this to be white. So you're just trying to figure out where you want that to go. And I'm going to say right there. Now you're going to grab your, what color did I use? I used Mango Melody for that. Go ahead and ink it up. And see all that ink? Don't worry about that, because it's not going to get on your project. And I want it to be just a touch more prominent, so ink it up a little bit more. And that's better. I like that. And then, of course, we're going to add a little bit of Blackberry Bliss on top of that. So position it to where you want it to go. This is why I love the Stamparatus, is it just makes these layering of image is so much easier. So pick it up, and Blackberry Bliss ink. And there you have your pansy. Of course, your next step is you're going to cut it out for the card that way. And I'm going to show you how I did the smaller flowers as well. Okay, so now we're going to do the smaller flowers. We're going to do these here. I did it in Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie. And for that particular pansy image, we need these two stamps. So once again, I'm going to put my case underneath the Stamparatus plastic flap, and then I'm going to go ahead and position my first stamp, which is the solid image, and that's the one I want to stamp in Mango Melody. Go ahead and ink it up. Take your plastic case and apply your pressure. And again, I don't like how faint that is, so one more time. You don't have to worry about placement because it's in the exact same spot as you stamped the first time. And I'm happier with that now. So now we're going to go ahead and take the detail image, position it on top where you'd want it to go. Just play around with it until you're happy with the placement. You know, sometimes you may not get it where you want. You might want to do it a second time. Let's hope I did that in a good spot. So let's go ahead and ink it up with Pumpkin Pie ink. Ink up your image. Perfect. I love it. So now we're just going to go ahead and cut that out. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. This, by the way, these magnets come with your Stamparatus when you buy it. And I just used washi tape. One of the magnets broke, as you can tell. They're very, very strong. It broke right there. But just use your washi tape so they're easier to handle. Now, the little centers here, I want to talk to you a little bit about that image that makes that, because it's so tiny and it's so easy to lose. And I actually lost mine, and I don't know, it took me like close to an hour to find it. I was so scared I was going to vacuum it up, but it's this here. See how small that is? That's it. So be careful with that. That's the size of that image. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that in with a block. You don't need to use a Stamparatus for that if you don't want to. So what color should I use? Let's do soft suede for that. So go ahead and just ink it up. Oops, and then position it on top. And then you've got that little center of the flower of your pansy. Now you're ready to cut these with your dies. Okay, so now we're gonna put our card together. Let's bring in some scrap paper. And what we're gonna do first is I like to kind of age my basic white layer and add color to it, just very light. And I always do this with the blending brush. And so you pick up your ink, soft succulent is what I'm using, and you don't go right on your project right away. You stamp off first, so the darkest image, the darkest impression is on your scrap, and then you just blend in and add color to your piece of white cardstock. Not going to worry too much about the bottom there because we're going to add a layer of pumpkin pie on there. And then what I also like to do is add a little bit of splatter. And the splatter stamp that I use is from the Forever Fern stamp set. That's it there. So let's go ahead and use, again, soft succulents. And you're just picking up a little bit of the color off to the scrap paper first, and then onto your project after. So you see there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see that, but it's there. And then the other trick I'm going to teach you guys is the layer that we're going to, this layer of white we're going to put on a pumpkin pie layer. So what I like to do is I like to cut out the center, because you're not going to see that anyway. That's going to be covered, right? So I use whatever I cut out from the center to make other layers. So I've embossed this using the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder. And we are going to go ahead and glue that onto your white. So this white is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and of course you just make a slightly larger layer in pumpkin pie to layer that on. And go ahead and adhere it using your mono multi-purpose glue, which I love because once again you have room to move it around and make sure it's in the center before it's permanent. So there you go. And the last step, let's go ahead and add the greeting. The greeting is also from the Pansy Patch stamp set. And let's add that to the top. The little things you do make such a big difference. There you go. And then we're going to put our card together. All right, so I've already cut out the flowers, the pansies that we did earlier. I've cut them out, ready to be used for our final card. So I've even put adhesive on there already, the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm not a very particular stamper as far as perfection. I know this is what the card wants to be. This is what I want it to look like, and I just always kind of guesstimate. So I know that that big flower, I'm going to put it upside down because I've got dimensionals on it, is there, and that will go there. So with me, it's all about just guesstimating and estimating where I want things to go. So we want to put a little leaf along here. That's the solid stamp that you're going to do in soft succulents. So just push that aside a little bit. Go ahead and stamp it, and then we also want it right around here. So just push that aside and stamp it. Don't worry about that. We're going to have a outline stamp that will go over that in a minute. So the outline will go on top of the solid using the darker Evening Evergreen ink. There you go. And then again for this one, let's just clean it up a little bit. And then I think, oh yeah, I had another leaf right on the bottom here, and I think I used a smaller leaf for that. Yes, I did. So the solid stamp and the lighter soft succulents, and I think that went right around here. And then the outline in the darker Evening Evergreen. There you go. So now it's all about just gluing things together. So we know that we want this to be here and there and there. So I like to grab my glue and go ahead and add glue where I know I want the images to be. And I think one was right around here. So presto, another one up there, and this in the center. I already got the Stampin' Dimensionals right around there. See how fast that came together? And now, of course, all you're going to do is glue your final card onto your card base, which is Blackberry Bliss. Now, I'll show you a difference here so you can decide what you want to do. Can you see that on this card I have another piece of white layer peeking around so that it kind of makes it even pop more? And on this one, there isn't one. So decide what you prefer, but you can see the difference. Both beautiful. Now I'm going to show you some of the other cards I made using stamping with this stamp set. So I made some other cards, a couple more, using the Pansy Patch stamp set. So here's one using Coastal Cabana, and this is Mango Melody here. And this is the Forever Greenery 3D embossing folder. And then I did another one, this time using the pattern paper that comes with as part of the suite for the Pansy Patch. Now when you buy the pattern papers, it'll come in a big 12 by 12 pack like this, but in the very back of each pattern paper series, this is the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper, it'll tell you on here, I don't know if you can see, the colors of cardstock that coordinate with all the papers. So for this, it coordinates with Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Pale Papaya, and Polished Pink, as well as Soft Seafoam, Soft Succulents, and of course Whisper White. And if you have never bought any of the Stampin' Up! Designer Series papers, it always comes in 6 different designs in a 12 by 12 pack. But here I've cut this into 6 by 6 portions. But the nice thing about it is they're double-sided, so you will get 1, 2, let me show you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are more florally and more harder to coordinate and work with. But the nice thing about it is you can make a card so fast. Just use it for the bottom or the top or even for the full card. And then the backs of these are coordinating designer series papers that are easier to work with because they're more neutral. So you could use this for a man card, a masculine card, as well as this. That could be used as a masculine card as well. This would be lovely on a baby card, as well as this. And this as well, and this is your last design in the pack. This is why I like Stampin' Up! Papers, because you do get 6 sheets, but really in the end, you get 6 different designs. So those are the extra cards that I made using the Pansy Patch stamp set. Hope you can see all that. Let's see, let's arrange it. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you in the next one.